Hey, this is Jesse. We're here at the Vinyl Voices studio for season 2, y'all. And we have a few changes. Most notably, co-host right here, Gladys Fuentes. Say hi, Gladys.
Hi, Gladys.
Gladys, who do we have on the show tonight?
We've got Houston's horniest tonker around, Christopher Seymore.
Howdy.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
For having me, y'all.
Well, it starts you coming in late with a guilty breath and a whiskey smile on your face. I'm in bed, didn't want to wait for you to walk in with that fresh batch of light you made. Everybody loves a cheating song. They're the ones that's getting cheated on. No one cares about breaking hearts, telling stairs that's falling apart. And everybody wants to be George Jones till they're in the dark drinking alone. Everybody loves a cheating song. They're the ones that's getting cheated on. And you think you don't talk in your sleep, but the drunken words tell the sober secrets you keep. So tonight I'll be stepping out to you. Second chair ain't fair, but I know you won't care till it happens to you. Everybody loves a cheating song. They're the ones that's getting cheated on. No one cares about breaking hearts, telling stairs that's falling apart. And everybody wants to be George Jones till they're in the dark drinking alone. Everybody loves a cheating song. They're the ones that's getting cheated on. Everybody loves a cheating song. They're the ones that's getting cheated on. No one cares about breaking hearts, telling stairs that's falling apart. And everybody wants to be George Jones till they're in the dark drinking alone. Everybody loves a cheating song. You're the one that's getting cheated on. Everybody loves a cheating song. You're the one that's getting cheated on.
All right, so that was Cheated On by Christopher Seymore, sitting here with us, our guest tonight.
It's me.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that one. I mean, just the whole idea of, cheating. It's so, like the lyric basically says, we are attracted to those songs for some reason. So maybe after singing it and playing it and writing it, what's kind of some insight as to why we like those kinds of songs?
I think it's like, I don't know. First of all, I think they're sad songs, no matter how you go into them. Yeah. It's either about the guilt of being the perpetrator, right? Yeah. Or it's about the grief of being the victim.
Right.
Or it's about the guilt of being the other person, Like there's all those different angles. So it's it's just human life. I mean, songs really were about like our lives at one point, like really, truly, you know, like before radio was a thing, you know, every ridge sounded different. And old time music, you go ridge to ridge, is completely different sounding. The way they play their instruments, what they do. Not till we had radio did those things become more homogenous. So I think it just is to the core of who we are, the murder ballad, the cheating song.
The broke song.
Yeah. The struggling song. It's about our human struggle, and sometimes about those elation feelings too, like a wedding day, or, you know, your first child, but I mean, like, I think I grew up hearing a lot of old time songs that I didn't realize were old time songs. You know, my mom would sing them to me, or my dad, you know, or whatever. But my mom's favorite song as a little girl was like "Hang Down Your Head, Tom Dooley." Yeah. It's a murder ballad about a guy who knifes his woman to death on the side of a mountain, you know, and it's a real song, and it happened in a real place, and it was real people that it happened to, and they were writing about those people doing those things. Like, so I think the cheating song kind of falls into that same thing of like the human experience. That's really what connects us anyways. It's like we experience those feelings of loss and betrayal. Everybody's going to get that at some time, right?
Can't escape it.
No, it's inescapable.
And country music's very much rooted in the truth and what
It's roots.
It's roots.
Yeah, it's roots music. Yeah, it's just like it's the working man's plight is always a big theme in country music too. As much as like the cheating and the drinking and other things, there's those other songs about family life and all those things. So gospel kind of rolls into that, and then blues. And I mean, really, once you had like African influence come into old time, that's where it kind of, and blues is where, you know, African music coming into European folk traditions and mountain Appalachian traditions, and those things all starting to blend with the radio, especially because they all started hearing each other.
Right.
And so I think those stories, the way we tell them doesn't change a lot.
Right.
I mean, and that's why, I don't know. We could get in a conversation about AI writing songs that way, but I think that every artist has to write for it. It could. It does.
That's scary.
I'm convinced they've been writing songs with AI for a long time in Nashville. You know, why pay a kid a publishing contract when you can not pay a computer to do twice 10 million times the work, you know?
Right.
So I think live performance is pretty hard to replace.
Yeah.
Sure.
In that sense.
And you wrote that song with your friend.
I did.
And-
My buddy Tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother. Yeah, we would always come up with goofy lines between us or whatever. But yeah,
AI can't do that.
he just came in and was like, "Hey man, I got this song, you know." And, what is it? He said, "Everybody loves a cheating song till they're the ones that cheat on it." And that little melody. And I was like, "We're gonna write that." So we did. You know, it just took a while to get there. He wasn't happy with the phrasing at first because it's a little different than his style. I think that's what you get when you write with other people, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the way he crafts lyrics, especially in the verses, it changed the shape and the texture of the song. I wouldn't have wrote that way. I wouldn't have pieced that together in that way. So having those influences, you know, that's that true collaboration. It's just in the DNA of that art form, you know.
It's very intimate. You have to trust the person.
I don't trust him at all. I'm kidding. I'm playing. I do. But
I mean, creatively.
Yeah,
You don't have to give him your wallet or nothing, but you gotta like.
I always
be
think of
able to-
myself as a great editor.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes me a good co-writer, is because like I'll take what you have and we can preserve the idea of it. We can find a better way to present it.
Yeah.
You know, and good writing is good editing. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
just
it's
really
true.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's that process to bring it from a line from him walking in from the garage at a family event, like we're doing Thanksgiving, you know, stuffing our faces, and into a song. It just, the process of doing that with somebody is freeing in a lot of ways. It takes the pressure off, I think. Not everybody likes to co-write though.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep. So there's some, you know, control freaks out there, like it's got to be my way or no way, you know, and so.
Yeah, I think you lose a lot in the process with that. You know, like taking the why not approach instead of the why approach. Because I mean, hell, it's not like you're recording the tape anymore, you know? Like
Yeah,
what
you can just-
you can just It's digital, baby. It's
do it.
You can always do it the way you were doing it. You can always go back and do it that way. But if you just exercise that idea before it has a chance to live, then you miss on the beautiful things. Like that song also, especially in the studio recording, it changed shape when we went in the studio. I mean, we had lyrically had it written, and I had a general layout of how I wanted the melody to be and the chords. But then that arrangement, the way our chord choices, that all is a lot of like Kevin and Avery, Kevin Skirlin and Avery Davis working in the studio to help produce the song. So, it really kind of lives in different forms until you put it in stone.
For sure.
And that's really not until it's released to the world. Like until then it's a malleable thing.
Right.
And it's one of those songs I heard at the Horni Tonk first, I think. And then I heard a recording of it from Wolf Island. And
that was a smooth segue for us to get into Horni Tonks.
yeah.
Because we haven't talked about
Community.
it.
He's all about making the whole community horny.
I mean,
once a
look,
week.
Gladys
You too can get
With
horny.
an eye.
With an eye.
Well, what's that about? Tell us, because
But that's really, it's tough in Houston because we're a large city. We're extremely sprawling. We're 650 square miles of urban jungle.
And people
And,
work.
everybody's got something going on, and there's no centralized place for information a lot here.
right.
I mean, Horni Tonk Society's been around for going on 3 years now. But we wanted to find a way to unite our community around a central source of information and also promote everybody within that scene together.
Yeah.
And to give ourselves ownership over our own music scene instead of being like, why don't we have one?
Yeah.
So, we just decided, a few of us that we would just change that. We do it by working together. We do it by building relationships with other people outside our city, and then connecting our local community to those people and us as musicians and artists working together. And, it took on different reiterations during the process of putting it together, but ultimately we just wanted something to be ours, Houston's.
Yeah.
We have a lot of rich tradition here, and it gets glossed over, and we're never,
Yeah.
we got a little bit of a second city mentality here, even though we're the largest in the state.
Well, and our musical history is
So
it's huge.
and it's crazy to me that doesn't still exist here in the same way. And again, we talk about mid-sized venues, we can get into all that stuff, but really it's about just bringing people together.
Yeah.
That's something that we lack, is that personal connection with people. And when people come out on a Tuesday and they come regularly, they start to get to know one another.
Yeah.
Right.
There starts to be friendships and
I've made lovely
relationships.
horny friends.
Hey, most of those people we met through that thing. And so now we all know each other. Now we're all showing up to shows together. Now you show up to see somebody from out of town play, and lo and behold, there's a whole bunch of people there.
Yeah.
And then in a
That's
sense,
nice. That's good.
an identity. Like it gave us as a scene in a city a little bit of an identity. And I think that just came from a bunch of artists and people buying into like building it together. Yeah. Like it can't be done by one person.
No.
It has to be done by like everybody.
Right.
So, and now we got baby bands springing up, and the signs of like a healthy scene.
Yeah.
And people are passionate about it. And we got dancers.
No,
And I think
Yeah.
that's part of the central point of the community too. And a lot of the music that we play is dance hall music.
Yeah.
These are dancing songs. That song is a dancing song.
Get you out there, get horny.
Yeah.
Dance that song.
Yeah. Can we focus on the horny for a
Yeah.
second?
we
Because
can all focus on the horny.
I mean, there's other what you're doing is I think we were talking a little bit before we started, rolling. But there are other
Are we rolling?
honky tonk. Hey, we're rolling. Yeah, we're rolling.
It's live. It's not live.
It's not. But there are other honky tonk societies, or this kind of thing, in other cities in the country and stuff. And you guys engage with them, they engage with you. But there's no other horny tonk.
No, it's just kind of our own little thing. And that's because it's just kind of born here through people that are here. Yeah. And again, I think people think about it as this big, grandiose thing, but really it's a very basic, simple principle. And it applies across all facets of life, I think, especially coming out of 2020, because, I mean, that's really, that's when things started to pop up. 22 is when we started doing this.
Right.
And, and those ideas were really born with the song swap that I did with Patrick, Seymore Sunday Shootout.
Yeah.
And then the
All
podcast.
those at the
Shady Acres.
Shady Acres, right?
Yeah. And we just it's just those little baby steps and the ownership that you take over it yourself. And then if you take ownership and your friends take ownership and then y'all start working together, that'll bring other people that are interested in doing that into the fold, you know? And so slowly but surely, word of mouth. And now it's like it kind of sustains in a different kind of way. There was a time where I would walk in on a Tuesday and I would just know every single person there. You know, I've known them for years, you know? It's like my friends, you know? And now I walk in and there's just new people there every week. People we never met before, people who are just discovering it for the first time, or people who are from other places even, you know?
Right.
We should say the Horni Tonk is at the Big Top.
It is at
Which
Shoeshine
is
Charley's
a
Big Top
Shoeshine
Lounge,
Charley's,
the
which
one
is
and
a
only.
wonderful little spot. That spot just feels good.
Well, those guys took a chance on it, you know? I talked to Alan Hill, who does the booking there at the club, and then Pete Gordon, the owner, he's always been very supportive of me. Personally, in my endeavors to be a musician and a writer. So it just was the right place. And those relationships are there. That's the thing, is like you can't build a community without real relationships, like genuine relationships with people.
Right.
And so, it's just like one of those things where it just seemed like the right place to do it with the right people and the right environment. And that bar is kind of special. I mean,
it's very
anybody that's been in there or has had the opportunity to go in that place is just like, whoa, I didn't know this even existed.
Yeah, you know, I always say about that place, I don't remember the first time I went, but I remember how I felt when I walked in there. I was like, wow.
Yeah, well,
it's like all the stuff inside my head just exploded. It's crazy little space. And, you know, the first time I talked to you about it, y'all had just started. And I remember you telling me, like, y'all's purpose and, you know, with time, maybe someone who's on tour is like, I've got a random day and I'm driving through Texas. Like, maybe I'll find, and they'll find you. And then I interviewed a girl, and that was her deal, India Ramey.
Yeah, India Ramey.
And I loved her. She was so good. But she told me, I was like, how'd you hear the Horni Tonk? She's like, you know, I'm just on tour, and my booking guy came across it. I was like, this might be a good fit. And I think it was.
Well, it's been interesting, you know. Well, like my buddy Dylan Earl comes through fairly often now, but he never really played through Houston before. And that relationship came about from a relationship I developed with John O'Leroy and Rich Russell, a couple other guys that he knew that, like, we did the song swap with. And that's the thing. It's a highly relational business. It's about your reputation and doing what you say you're gonna do, but also like the people around you. If you're doing shitty shit, it'll get around. People will find out about it. Everybody talks. Whether you're a venue, whether you're a booker, whether you're like promoter, whether you're
sometimes
an
even the fans.
And sometimes even some fans get around at the old rumor mill. But
that sounds like a story that needs to be offline right here.
But it's like one of those things, you know, like it's all about developing genuine, real relationships with people. I think that's important in life. In general. Like those meaningful relationships are what give us our connection to the world.
Exactly.
And so I think that was it, man. We just developed relationships with people, and we were consistent. Which is always the thing. Being able to be very consistent with something is difficult over a sustained period of time. That's like one of the main ingredients to success. I think it's like consistency.
Sure.
You know, anybody can be good for 5 minutes.
Well, that's how good we are. Like the whole, we're here at the end of the segment, but like it went full circle, because when we started, we're talking about how songs are about that connection, and then we're ending on talking about, you know, connecting in a more professional way, you know, than just what we'd hear in a song, but full circle anyway. That's what we're going with, so we can end the segment.